thought you might like a more in-depth look at what the bathroom looks like now that it's finished. Hello! I'm zoomed out a little bit so you can't tell the true colour of that. Let me show you what it really is like. The only issue that I have found is the toilet roll holder that I stuck back on here. The tape behind it was not strong enough, so it fell off a couple of times and I can't put it back on. Don't currently know where it is. So what I'm probably going to do is drill 2 holes into the back of that and then use some screws to drill it into the wall so that it's more permanent. I also wanted to show you the difference of what it looks like from the inside because I painted this door frame. This previously was blue and I painted it white, and I feel like that was such a good move. The other thing that I'm pleased about that I haven't mentioned until now is that there was a little patch on the ceiling that hadn't quite properly been painted. So every time I walked up the stairs and the light shone on it in a certain way, I could see this big patch, and that was really quite annoying. I found it. I don't know if I have a drill bit that can go through metal. I don't think I can drill any holes in this. Maybe I'll try.
I wanted to show you this next bit at normal speed so you can see just how long it takes to drill 1 hole through this piece of metal. I like speeding up the content so you don't have to watch the boring bits, but I do also want you to see just how long it takes to do things like this so you know what to expect when you come to do something similar yourself. It took 49 seconds of drilling to do this 1 hole. And this next bit is sped up again. Now, I'm not too sure if my twist drill bit is designed to drill through metal, but what I know is that it did. Maybe it's blunt, I don't know. But there was a job that I needed to do, and now it's done. So I'm feeling pretty happy.
Okay, pretty impressed with that.
After some quick tappy taps with my hand to check that the metal wasn't still hot, I got to work to make the bottom of this flat again. I need to move those little sponge stickers, but I also needed to take this little flake of metal off. I ended up bending it forwards and backwards until it eventually snapped. And I also just softened the edges with this file.
Okay, I know that this goes here, this side of this water tap. But what I'm not going to do is what I did last time, where I put it on the wall as I was sat at the toilet and just kind of hoped that it was level. It was not, was it, Emma? No, it was not. So we're going to use a level, and these little mini ones are perfect for a job like this. There we go. Oh. You are nice and level. And I'm going to draw in these little holes. I'm just doing it with a pen. I think most people would do it with a pencil. But since I'm drilling out the material, there's going to be no pen lines left. The only way that would be a problem is if you make a mistake and then you've got pen on the wall. So I'm just being courageous. I'm going to drill a small bit of material out of these holes. Because when I use these plasterboard plugs, I find that they go in and they remove a lot of the plasterboard, and they sometimes cause bulging because there doesn't seem to be like enough space in there. So when I drill out just the centre, it frees up enough space for these to go more securely. That's what I find anyway. Okie-dokie. This drill bit is very long, and I'm going to show you in a minute something else that I'm going to do with this, because I've just found it and I can never find this drill bit, and there's something very specific that I need it for. But before then, it's already doing the thing that I don't want it to do. The material around it kind of pops out. Let me show you. It does this, and I find that it doesn't do that if you take out enough of the material. So what I'm going to do to avoid that is I'm actually going to use this other drill bit that is where did I put it? There it is. I'm going to put this in the drill and take out a little bit more of the material at the very top, because this, I find, sometimes solves this problem. I don't mind too much if it's messy, because it's going behind the handle, so it's not going to be seen. But I like to practice doing tidy work for the times that it is seen. Woohoo! Perfect, that's exactly what I wanted. That was not what I wanted. I guess I'm not yet perfect at installing these. Maybe this is inherent in their design. It's still behind here, so we can hide our sins. Right, put that screw in. That screw in. Perfect. You might be wondering, or you might be saying to yourself, Emma, that looks hideous. That's so unsightly. And you'd be correct. So there's two things we're going to do. First of all, we're going to stick this back on because it has come off and the toilet roll's not going to stay on there. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to make these black, and let me show you how. We're going to use some of this black spray paint. Now all I really want to do is just take this lid off and spray it directly onto the screws, but it's going to go everywhere. Trust me, I have tried it, it always goes everywhere. So instead, here's my little hack that I like to do. Find a bit of paper, spray on a little blob, find yourself a little paintbrush. Just want to take it, add it to the paintbrush, and then you can paint these screws. You can also do this with black paint. The only reason I'm using the spray paint is because it's all I have. After a few coats you won't be able to see that whatsoever. And the solution to this handle problem is really straightforward. I've just got some basic glue. I've actually taken the top off, firstly because it had dried out, but secondly it is easier sometimes to get the product in there through this huge gap rather than the little one. And I do want plenty of product in here. There you go, that's what I wanted. I might actually just get some sellotape or some masking tape will be better, and tape it around the bottom and then tape it to the wall to make sure that it doesn't droop over time. There we go, now that's drying. The other thing that I needed the long drill bit for was this. I can't get that screw in with a normal drill bit. That's because a normal drill bit requires the drill to go too far, too close to this, and then this gets in the way. This happens often when you've got to drill something that is behind a pipe and it's in the way. The same would happen here if I tried to screw this in now that this is glued on. It would be quite tricky to get the drill behind there, but it is possible to get this thin drill bit. So now I can finally screw these in. It's not usually so higgledy-piggledy like this, but I'm trying to do it one-handed with my camera in the other hand. That'll do. Oh gosh. And now that those are in, I'm going to paint those black so it all blends in. Hello, shelf bird. For goodness sake. It's always falling off the shelf. It's because I was drilling. I've just realised that some of you might not understand shelf bird. I did a campaign over a year ago now, I think, with Sugru, which is the mouldable glue, and I fixed his tail because he fell off a shelf and it broke, and he fell off a shelf in a couple of my projects, the corridor hallway projects that I did. He fell off the shelf, so he just seems to fall off of lots of shelves, so that's why he's now called Shelf Bird. Okay. Whilst I was fixing those screws, I remembered another couple of reasons why I tend to favour having a spray over using paint. This dries really quickly, more so than paint, and so you can add quite a few layers very quickly and it dries very quickly. Super convenient. Another reason is that you can get this in matte, in black matte, and this one actually happens to be a gloss, so mine look a little bit shiny, but you can get one that's matte so you can get the screws to blend in better with your ironwork. Another reason is that not just any black paint will do. If you've got black emulsion, for example, that's not going to be suitable for this because it won't stick to the metal. You need something that is designed for metal and other materials. Something like a garden gate paint would work, but that's very likely to be shiny, which is why I say if you buy a spray paint like this, you can usually find one that's matte that will blend in better. They're so shiny, but they do look better than the silver, so I mean, I'm not going to argue with that.
Thanks for joining me for another episode of my vlog. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel.